Hi, Philip. Welcome to Croatia.
Great to see you, and happy to be here. To be honest, I've talked with Želimo before, but always in Brussels, so it's good to see you in Croatia. And frankly, I think the country deserves something else than the duopoly between HDZ and the Social Democrats. So
absolutely,
yeah, that's
very good. Is that the citizens think that as well? So, in a very short period, how would you present to Croatian citizens what is the main fight, main battle, main goal for the Greens to fight in next election period and in next mandate on the European level?
Well, what I would say, it's just taking the line from, who was it, Clinton, it's the economy, stupid. Actually, people think that the green transition is actually a handicap for the economy, and actually we see that as the main asset.
Exactly.
To found the economy of the 21st century. And for me, the big question for Europeans, and I'm sure that in Croatia people understand that, is that actually what does Europe have to offer economically to the rest of the world? When you look at the IT revolution, sorry, but we missed it a bit. All the giants in IT are not European. So the next industrial revolution is the green one. And again, we have the question, do we want to lead it? Or do we want to follow it? If we follow it, you know, the only thing that Europeans will be able to offer the rest of the world is tourism. Yeah. We will be a very nice museum, a very nice place for Chinese Americans to visit. But I don't believe that this is enough of an economic base to allow for everyone to live well in Europe. And so yes, the green transition is something which we must embrace. And I don't believe that traditional political parties have understood this. They still see that that's the hobby horse of the Greens, you know. No, actually, it's the economic opportunity of the 21st century.
This is especially relevant for Croatia because we are totally dependent on tourism. Our GDP is completely dependent on tourism, and we want to change it through the new economic model, which is based on green reindustrialization. So, another question. What would you say, especially to the young people in Croatia who really care about climate change and about the green transition? Why is it so important to go and participate in EU elections? Why is EU policy important?
Well, first I'd like to tell them that if you don't care about politics, politics will do stuff that will impact you. So better be part of the decision rather than watch other people decide for you. So to me, it's a matter of almost self-determination. And make no mistake about it, and we have seen that with COVID, we have seen that with the war, the European Union is taking an ever more bigger importance in policy making in Europe. So these are crucial elections. But the other thing I'd like to tell young Croats is not to leave the country. And I understand, of course, that you may be bored with a country that seems to be a bit fossilized in a sort of clientelism ever since Yugoslavia
and
went
bust. Made corruption model.
Voila. So I understand that people can be disgusted, but you know, when all the disgusted people will have left, only the disgusting ones will remain. And do you want to leave your country? To such people, I would say no. But of course, it takes courage to make it happen and to say, okay, I'm biting in, I want to change my country. That's what Želimo tries to do. But then again, we need, I would say, the young, energetic Croats not to give up. To give up and to be part of the change of the country.
True that, but we also believe that it's up to us who are in the politics to create conditions that not only Croats, but also Belgian people, French people, Irish people want to come and live in Croatia because we believe that Croatia can become a model country for what the green transition means for the quality of life. I mean, you can have a high level of quality of life.
Yeah, and of course, people in more traditional parties will tell you, yeah, but the green transition is basically bringing us back to the Stone Age. We will lose comfort and all the rest of it. This is bullshit, of course, because as if the kind of fossil-based model is giving you comfort, well, we see less and less of it. And actually, when you have climate change, talk to me about living a comfortable life. It's no longer comfortable. People are dying because of this. Heat waves, droughts, but also floods.
And storms, we had huge storms this summer in Croatia as we never had before. Zagreb had the strongest storm.
Really?
Now in July, We had the strongest storm in 160 years that hit Zagreb. So since we have the measurements.
And so don't tell me that status quo is a recipe for a good life. I think we will need to embrace change. And of course, I understand people saying, yeah, but change, I know what I have. I don't know what change really means. And so all of us are a bit adverse to change, but then again, we need to do it. Better, or should I say, embrace change and make it rather than just be subject to change that is decided by nature, decided by others. Let's take our future in our own hands. That's a value proposition of the Greens in Europe. But of course, it's a tough sell. So we have to be good at listening, and dialoguing and explaining. That's what we try to do. But it's going to be about this. The European election will be primarily about, okay, we now had the Green Deal. The Green Deal is incomplete. Mm-hmm. It is a good step forward, but it is incomplete. And now there are people saying, we want to stop it. And the question is, do we want to stop it or do we want to deepen it and widen it? And there, frankly, the deciding factor will be the size of the Greens in the European Parliament. So these will be important elections for sure.
Okay, thanks so much for coming here, and thank you for
a real pleasure
for communicating your goals to our citizens. Thanks.
A pleasure.